Hey good people, how you doing? David Taub here, co-creator of nextlevelguitar.com. Hope all is well, and I hope your guitar journeys are going famously. We've been getting a lot of emails lately where guitar players writing in saying, hey, can you teach us some turnarounds? And so that's what I'm going to do in the next few licks of the week, or the next few videos. I'm going to show you like a new turnaround each time. And you definitely want to add these to your arsenal. What a turnaround is it's kind of like a group of chords or notes that kind of signify the end of a passage, taking you back to the beginning of the passage or to the first measure of the passage. So it kind of, that's where the name kind of comes around. It kind of turns you around back to the start again. Turnarounds can be used like toward the end, at the end of a certain passage, or they could be used at the beginning of a song. Like a lot of times you'll hear a turnaround lick and then the song kick in. So you could use them there. A lot of times they're used at the end, and they're important for the guitar player for a few reasons. One of them is because it kind of sums up, kind of puts a nice end on your, like if you're playing a lead over a given progression, like in a blues kind of thing. And it kind of signifies the ending to it, and it's a nice clean way to get out of it and back into the rhythm. And I'm going to play these on acoustic guitar today, but you could play these on electric, you know, it doesn't matter, whatever you got. The first one, and these are going to sound probably very, very standard, very familiar. Like I said, we'll start off with some easy ones and then get into some harder ones. We'll do some single note ones, mainly at first. But these, and then maybe down the road, we'll get into some chordal movement turnaround. I'll play this in the key of E. I'll throw a jam track on too, because I'll show you exactly where to put this. And that is just going to be, the progression will be using like kind of a walking rhythm. Kind of a walking rhythm using like an E fifth, an A fifth, and a B5 chord. First one will sound like this. So you see how I kind of played the lick, got to that 5 chord, that B7, and then resolve back to the beginning, or back in this case the E7. So use these as ideas, as a springboard. So in order to play this lick, slide up with your second finger to the 4th fret of the G string, and then also on the 4th fret, but on the high E string, play that 4th fret. So you get, and you want to let the one note with your second finger on that 4th fret, that B note, ring out. You don't want it to sound like this. You know, it sounds better when you let it ring out. And then hit again 4th fret on the G string, and then slide it back a half a step or 1 fret to the 3rd fret. And then keep your 3rd finger down also, because you're going to play the 3rd fret on the high E string. So you kind of keep this down, your 2nd and 3rd fingers, for most of the whole lick. So real slow so far, you have this. Then do the same thing again. Play that 3rd fret again on the G string and slide it back to the 2nd fret. And then 2nd fret on the high E string. All together. Then again, pick the 2nd fret on the G string and slide that down to the 1st fret, only this time you take off the 3rd finger and play the open high E string. So you get this all together. Now, when you play that open high E string, because you have that 2nd finger on that G sharp note, you could actually play all 3 of the high strings, because that's kind of like a piece of that E7 chord, right? So you can kind of do something like this. Here I hit all 3 of them, and you hear what I'm doing. You let those notes ring, you don't cut them off. So here's the whole lick slow. Now we play a little walk up to the B7 chord. So you're going to play the open A string, 1st fret A string, 2nd fret A string. And then I just kind of strum or arpeggiate down this B7 chord. So you get. So altogether the lick is. then back to your 1 chord. And if you want to know the rhythm in this jam track, all I'm doing is I'm actually using an E5 for the 1 chord, A5 for the 4 chord, B5 and B6 for the 5 chord. So, and I'm walking using my 3rd finger and pinky on the E and the A chords on the 4th and 5th fret, kind of like this. There's the A chord when it goes to the 4 chord. Same thing I was doing on the E chord, you do on the A. And then when it goes to the 5 chord, I go to the B chord, and then I play the B6. So B5. And then when it goes back to the 4, I just hit here. And on the 1 chord, that's where you put in your turnaround. Let's try it over to jam track. We're doing a very common 12-bar progression where we're playing the 1 chord or the E chord for 4 bars. Then it goes to the 4 chord for 2 bars. So that's 6 total. Then it goes back to the 1 chord for 2 bars. That's 8 total. Then it goes to the 5 chord for 1 bar. That's 9. 4 chord, or in this instance the A5 for 1 bar, that's 10. Then back to the 1 chord, that's 11. That's when you would start the turnaround lick for 1 bar and continue it through. The 12th bar is the turnaround, which is on the 5 chord for 1 measure, and then it turns around to the 1, back to the 1, and it starts all over, and you just keep repeating that 12 bar. Now there's other types of progressions used in blues, you know, not just 12 bar, and there's different ways to play the 12 bar. This is probably the most common, so you want to learn that formula. Let's put the jam on. I'm going to play along with it, and I'll play the lick and show you where to insert it. Okay, here we go. 1 chord. And 2, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 4, and 2. There's a switch to the 4 chord for 2 measures. Back to the 1 chord for 2 measures. Now, 5 chord. 4 chord. Here's a lick. Turn around. And do you see how we hopped right back in on that 1 chord, right? So you see how you make that nice, easy, smooth transition back to that 1 chord. So if you're soloing, you don't blow all that great lead guitar work that you just did, and you hop back in, right? And if you want to practice where to insert these and the turnaround licks to make sure you got the timing down, a good way to do that is with jam tracks, you know, because it's like having a full band behind you. You could practice your lead work and work on your rhythm and your soloing and your timing and your landing notes. Jam tracks are an essential tool for the lead guitar player. And we have some great ones where we have what I call Blues Jam Tracks Plus. I also have a Rock Jam Tracks Plus, and I'll put links to both of those CDs in the text box below this video. Check them out. They're studio quality. They sound awesome. I recorded them in the studio. 10 killer audio tracks, and it comes with a 58-page PDF book on lead guitar. All the scales, I break each track down 1 by 1 and give suggestions on what to play over it and why it works. It's a whole lead guitar, course on, how to look at progressions and how to know what to play over them and how to develop your skills as a lead player and try new things. So click on those links, and the Blues Jam Tracks Plus has that I was playing that E5 walking blues, and has 9 other killer blues tracks, and that link also has a video preview where you can hear some of the tracks. The Rock Jam Tracks is more in a rock format, and that link will have preview video where you can hear some of the tracks too. Certainly email us if you have any questions, and check out our full-on video instructional website at www.nextlevelguitar.com. Over 900 video lessons and growing. We add new content every month. All genres of music, beginners, intermediates, advanced. It's a killer site. Check it out. Stay tuned for more videos. We will see you in the next lesson. Get ready for more turnarounds. Take care and keep on rocking.